Hi Cancer, welcome to your June 2017 love reading. It's Raina here. So I just wanted to say a few things. First of all, I'm going to do, for June at least, a separate love reading for singles because of some comments I received, and I think it would be an interesting experiment. The other thing I wanted to say is I'm doing a modified Celtic cross spread for this particular reading, and I've done the other two water signs so far, tested out on them, and it's been yielding some interesting stories, but I'm not sure how many people are going to resonate with it. Now, with any general reading, you can't expect that the cards are going to necessarily be for you. Some people, it's like to the letter, and maybe that was just meant to be, that, the messages were there for certain people. I've had the same experience myself, and then with the same reader, it's like, oh my gosh, this is so off. But the important thing is to either get, you don't have to have the whole thing be this one great message for you. Maybe there are certain cards that speak to you, or maybe it's a month where it doesn't speak to you at all. These are not private readings. Private readings, in my case, I use the natal chart, and I really rely on that for many of my readings because it is personal to that person. And the tarot is very, what was the word I was going to use? It's open to suggestion. It's open to interpretation, I should say. And I don't think of it as exact. To me, it's very, highly symbolic is how I always put it. Whereas to me, astrology is a lot more exact, especially when you have somebody's chart in front of you. So I just wanted to clarify that, because sometimes people do feel like, oh my gosh, this is really going off on a tangent. And yes, it does sometimes. And as I said, I've already done 2 of these, and it does seem to get more specific. When you have like a lot of cards, then it's like you're really telling this one story. So we'll see what happens with your reading, Cancer. And hopefully it will yield you some positive insights. Anyway, and if you're single, you could still watch this because you might still get something from it. But just stay tuned for your own reading. And I'll tell you what each card represents once I have drawn all the cards. I always bury these cards and then I can't pick them up. I should figure that one out more. So that they're never hard to grasp. Okay. So the heart of the matter, or the focus of this June reading, is the Page of Pentacles. The Page of Pentacles can be a message, and we have had Mercury retrograding in May. In June, things are getting back to normal. Even Jupiter is going direct in June. But there may be some kind of an important message that is resonating with you. Maybe somebody gets in contact with you who is important to you. This person could literally be an earth sign, like a Capricorn or a Virgo or a Taurus individual. This is the card of a student too, by the way. So if you're on the younger side, or maybe even not that so young, you can go to school when you're older too. But this could be talking about someone that you are dealing with who happens to be connected to some studies. maybe to their university. And of course in June there are graduations. So maybe that's what's happening for some people. But the earth element could definitely be in play. And, I can't help but think of Virgo, because Virgo is an earth sign. And we think of Mercury, its ruler, as giving messages. So by extension, you could even say it might be a Virgo individual. Let's keep going and seeing what it says. Pages can also be children, but in a love reading, I don't know if that would be somehow important to anybody. The challenge is the Moon card. So this can be some kind of deception that is occurring, that is making a person feel like they are impeded in some way. If this is another person, you may be interested in somebody, but you feel that they're holding something back. And maybe you don't trust them for some reason. There's just something inside of you. You're ruled by the moon. So even though this card is connected to Pisces, if this is a Pisces person who is causing problems, I guess that could be it too. But this card is connected to Pisces because of that Neptunian connection with deception. And it's possible too that for some people you're involved with somebody, maybe they didn't tell you that they had children, and by extension that they were involved with somebody else. And we do have here at the heart of the matter, or the root cause, the Ten of Swords. So there is a sense of being betrayed. So maybe something was revealed. Let's see what we have in terms of, I'm trying to think of the full moons and all that stuff that are happening in the month of it's interesting because I'm recording this the day before the full moon in Scorpio. So it could be possible that that's your fifth house. So maybe you end a relationship in May as a result of that, of finding out something about somebody you were dating. And it would be a situation of betrayal in some way. Maybe they lied to you, told you things that were not true about their life. And so when I see that page, it could be involving a child that they claim they didn't have, or maybe they were involved with somebody who is an earth sign. Maybe that's the other party. In the recent past, and this is kind of connected to this card, we have the Four of Swords. So you may have been keeping to yourself as a result of all of this and trying to deal with it the best that you can. Maybe doing a little bit of soul searching and seeing, maybe just physically recovering from this, because maybe that caused some kind of problem with you. Actually, what I wanted to say about this is that, Cancer is a sign that is very sensitive, not only because it's a water sign. Well, it is because it's a water sign, but it tends to take things to heart. So if somebody did something to you that felt like a disappointment, you may have even felt it physically, and you may be having to kind of recover physically from some negative situation that, you did not expect. And so let's look at the higher message in all of this, because that can sometimes be a clue. And it's another Pentacles card, the Eight of Pentacles. This is about the person who is working very hard at their task, the craftsman. in your case, it's funny, it was so funny. I was thinking of Virgo, perfectionism. And I was forgetting that you are Cancer. I was thinking in terms of Virgo because I had mentioned. So, the thing about it is that this card could represent someone who's trying too hard to make something happen. Maybe this was all on your end. And I get this sometimes when I do private readings where someone will be telling me they're very invested in the situation, but it doesn't seem like it's a two-way street. Like the person that they are invested in, I'm not so sure is invested in them. And you know, to me that's kind of sad because it's like it has to be mutual, right? You can't have a relationship with someone who is not that, just not that into you. Or, you know, maybe they're into a whole bunch of people and you're just one of the crowd. I just had this scenario with Scorpio in a similar vein. And so when, you know, actually this is a very good way of knowing when you're maybe in a, I don't want to say a hopeless situation, but a situation that is not going well, is when you're doing all of this work and, you know, for the relationship. It's almost like you're propping up the relationship in some way. And what happens is people get so caught up in that and trying to keep the romance alive that they fail to realize that it really was never there to begin with, you know, and that's kind of like, ouch. But it doesn't say anything about you if that is the case. It just says that perhaps the other party had different intentions. Maybe they were attracted to you physically. Maybe they were lonely and they just don't feel like it clicks overall, but it doesn't say anything about you. In the immediate future, we have a card that I call the George Harrison card because in this deck, the Morgan Greer deck, it looks like a picture of George Harrison. But this is a card of, the Seven of Pentacles is a card of waiting to see if something will develop. And this is, the number 7 is a turning point. So for some people, you may, you know, if you're dealing with someone, and this could be this person right here, you may feel like you're investing time into something very fervently, and you want to see if it's going to pay off. Now, having gotten this card, this is a positive card, though. This isn't suggesting that you're on the wrong path. Maybe this person is an air sign. Maybe this person is a Libra. That's the first one I think of, but also it could be an Aquarius or a Gemini individual because we have the root cause and the past tense. So perhaps this is a new person. I should have said too that the page can be a newness, so it could be a new relationship. So maybe you're with an earth sign now and it's not a bad situation at all. And you're just waiting to see if it's going to have legs, if it's going to pay off. Your state of mind is the Page of Cups. And so this is a card, and you see the fish jumping out. This is associated with Pisces. So that kind of Piscean sense of innocence is part of this. And if you have a new relationship, the page can also indicate the newness of the affection. But there can be, what it's telling you though is be careful of gullibility. In other words, if you're in love with somebody, don't just like throw caution to the wind and lose your sense of logic and not realize that somebody could be playing you. Because that can certainly happen sometimes when people are in relationships. They get so giddy over it that they forget to really think about whether the person is being truthful. You know, that's the only way I can put it. And you have to do that. Otherwise, you're going to get into a situation where you're just like believing everything you hear. And especially in new relationships, when you really don't know another person that well, which is what this card is about, it's getting to know that person. You might find yourself in a very precarious position sometimes, because people, especially people that are, you know, I don't want to say something that extreme, like a sociopath, but, you know, people that are very troubled, sometimes they're the ones that come across as very charming. You know, I think of the Knight of Cups, that person who tries to act like the perfect person, like the knight in shining armor. Sometimes that's a red flag, believe it or not, because a real person is not trying to be something that they're not. They're not trying to be somebody's savior. They're just trying to be who they are. And so if you're dealing with people who are, they appear to have some kind of a God complex, and they're trying to act like they're your best friend, and they're going to save you from everything. They may be just trying to manipulate you to get you to, you know, drop everybody else and be with them. So there is that thing that can go on, and that's why I'm picking this card and talking about that. And what is around you is this is influences around you, the Nine of Wands. This could be the other person. Maybe it's the earth sign person. Maybe they are being a bit wary themselves because they have been hurt. And maybe that's why the relationship is taking a long time to get off the ground. The other thing, too, is that this could just be a fire sign individual that is in the picture. Maybe an ex, you know, who is very possessive and trying to get with that person again, and they see you as a rival. And, you know, it's funny how people fall into those games or those dramas. If somebody's trying to do that, don't take the bait. You know, this isn't some kind of a soap opera. This is a mature relationship isn't supposed to be full of that kind of thing. And if it is, and the person that you're interested in seems to almost nourish or nurture it because it feeds their ego to have two people fighting over them, then that's kind of a red flag too, you know. So that person, if that person has an ex who's jealous, then they have to deal with it, and they should deal with it, and they shouldn't be telling you everything that the person says in order to get you all riled up or anything like that. That's not like a healthy type of interaction or scenario. Okay, so the advice, or what, I think in this case, it could be what is coming in. Sometimes this can just mean that you're working a lot, but you have to be careful not to overwork yourself, that you could experience burnout. So you may be unavailable to deal with a new relationship, and that's fine, because you may just want to take it very slowly. This is what this card is, having patience, not trying to jump ahead in a relationship. But this could also be talking again of dealing with someone of a fire sign temperament, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Maybe you're going to have to deal with them in some way. I don't know who this person would be. The other thing too is that you should guard against taking responsibility for that which is not yours. Kind of like with that Eight of Pentacles I was suggesting with that. Do not ever, in any relationship. So you don't want to go from an old relationship to a new one where you are trying to make something happen. allow things to flourish on their own. Don't try to force the universe's hand. The outcome is the Four of Pentacles, which is awesome because this is a card that is actually associated with Earth and it's a solid type of relationship. I think it may be connected to Taurus. I'm not 100% sure on that. This person can be an Earth sign, Taurus, Capricorn, Virgo, with a strong work, not work ethic, but more of a good ability to manage money. They may be a little bit materialistic in terms of being overly interested in money, but this could also point with the number 4 to a relationship that has a firm foundation. So it could last a long time instead of a very quick affair. This could be something solid, in other words. So it could be going back to that initial card, you know. And I hope that this reading was appropriate for some of you at least. If you'd like a private reading, please click on the link below, Cancer. Otherwise, have an awesome June. Bye.